This is the first time I'm here. This is the Club Wyndham Palm-Aire in or near Pompano Beach, Florida, and we're in the Sable Palms building, I believe, which is kind of like this, sort of an apartment block. But out the other side is supposedly is the access to the pool. Kind of a ways away is the other building that has a spa in it, and there's shuffleboard, ping pong. A lot of activities already. They got a movie night tomorrow night, and it looks like they also have beach access through one of their sister resorts. I don't know if we could get day use, but we can at least park and go to the beach. So that's all pretty cool. Okay, so contra to the outdoors, which was a little sketchy and made me a little concerned, inside's quite nice. This is the 2-bedroom deluxe, so it's not, they're super fancy. It's not presidential or anything. Kitchen area, well, dining table, kitchen. We've got no idea how the lights work. Kind of story of my life at these places. There we go. Nice little area, full stove, full fridge. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the ice maker on. I gotta do every time. Let's see, dishwasher. Let's do a quick look at the dishwasher. It looks like it was just run, so seems pretty good. And let's see, so we've got here the second bathroom, I'm guessing, which, great, it's also got access directly from there. It's got your normal tub. This is very similar, just with the Wyndham branded stuff, but very similar actually to the Marriott Grand Vista bathroom setup. Oh, here we've got even a little chair. Nice. 2 double beds, I would say, I guess. I don't think those are queens, but that's fine. Got your TV. This does not have its own balcony. I don't know if we have a balcony at all.
Yeah, we do.
I guess we're going to go check that in a minute, but it's got a view here. And we've got here like a regular closet. So, this Wyndham so far in like 5 minutes, the impression went up quite a bit coming inside, which happened to me at Destin as well. Like, the actual units are nice, even if the outside of the building is a little iffy. Yeah, whole living room area too. And here's the balcony. Okay. Okay, so let's see, we got the balcony here. Slides pretty good. Watch your step. Yeah, okay. Okay, yep. Okay, so just right out from there. This isn't as private. Doesn't have kind of the wraparound a little bit, but oh yeah, I guess it kind of does. But unfortunately, being this location, all you get a view of is the parking lot, and it's, like I said, not super private. This area is we'll see. We did find a nice little man, watch my what okay, we did find a nice little park nearby that you can do a quick, it's a Fern Valley Park, you can do nature center or something, do a quick walkthrough on like a boardwalk, and then there was another path you could do that I believe might have been on the ground, so you would have been doing things like dirt on that path. We haven't gone that way yet. We might check it out. This is the main bedroom. So this does have the king bed and such. Excuse me. Also a little chair. Nice little setup. Not really like the set style or anything. Also with this is halfway there. I mean, they have the bathtub just kind of open here. It's not in the bedroom like some of them were. But yeah, does have a sink here. I don't know why there's a sink on the outside. Oop. And where's the lights for the, okay. And here's the rest of the bathroom. It's got your standard kind of shower, very similar, just a step in, but otherwise basically what was in the other room. There we go. try and clear a little bit of background noise. I got a standard sink here. Yep. Nothing too fancy. I think coming directly from the Wyndham, this is, I guess, a step. Where's the switch for this? This is perhaps a step. There we go. Step down, but not horrible. And we're trying to find, closet. Yeah, a little bit of a metal stain or something under that. Not a huge problem for us because, you know, they got the safe kind of in the way anyway, so what are you going to put down there? What I'm not seeing yet, hope I find, is laundry. But it's often hidden somewhere. Okay. Aha. I wonder if it's hidden behind these doors. One of these doors has seen better days. It's a little off. No. There's a closet. Just a closet. Well, this might be a negative. What's over here? Last chance. Aha! Whew. I was about ready to be like, no laundry. You know, that was the negative of Vacation Village Weston. You know, it was in a pretty good location, but you had to pay. I think you had to get like an app. It was in the middle of the floors was laundry, and also their beds could have been better. Wyndham beds, we haven't found any that are horrible yet. Usually decent, maybe not as good as Marriott beds, but not bad. And here we found where they hid the washer and dryer, which, because we're going to be first time ever at the same unit, same resort for 2 weeks here in Florida. We'll see how it is. You know, we usually only have 1 week to fully explore a place, but I'm kind of glad we're here for 2, both because we'll be able to do stuff on a Saturday when we always kind of miss the Saturday events because you can't check in until 4, so you miss all the earlier ones and you have to check out by 10. I don't know if you're not staying through the whole weekend, like who goes to those events. Really don't know. But all in all, so far, pretty happy. Hopefully we can check out all the things they have to do here because there is a lot on the activities sheet. And I have to say, first impressions are better inside than outside. Here we've got a view from the walkway to the elevator, and you can see it's got like this open atrium. Not too much really to say here, but we'll see more of this place as we go along over our 2 weeks. So you get on the elevator and you enter into this area here that is an arcade. It's pretty standard kind of thing that I see at various timeshares. You pay to play these games. They might be fun for some kids. It's not necessarily my kind of thing. The, you know, crab games are always just a waste of money. A little bit of a difference, a contrast to the Marriott that we came from with the Xboxes, but out of the arcade, you can see now some of the central amenities here at the Wyndham Palm-Aire. And this is kind of one of the things that I keep coming back to at this resort. There's just so many things that you could do. But foreshadowing, that doesn't necessarily make it the best resort to stay at in the area. As you can see here, this is the main pool. They have plenty of loungers because it's not that warm right now. A little way around the pool, we've got this setup for barbecuing. These are gas grills. It's a relatively nice area, and I did see somebody using it during the week. And then further along, you can see they have a sand area for sand volleyball, and you can obviously have fun there. And this is all right out the bottom of the building, right down off the elevator. And then here, right in there, a mini golf course. It looks really nice. It just, we never had a chance to go play there during the weeks that we were here because the weather never really cooperated with us and our schedule. So I am sad that we didn't get a chance to spend some time at a mini golf course because it can be a lot of fun. It just didn't work out for us. And of course, Chad already found one of the 2 hot tubs at the place, and he's checking it out for the first time, I think, here. Yeah, well, they don't have a desk, really, in the main bedroom like the Marriott did, which was kind of useful. There is kind of a setup here where you could set up computer here, and there's a power thing right there. So as you can see, it's not going to be that hard, but it will be more difficult to have two people working in the same area, because there just isn't like a small table or anything that's super convenient to use. But for one person at least, you can work at the kitchen table like normal with less trouble than we had in the Marriott. So this is my work setup with the power connection, like I suggested. And man, on this trip, both the previous place, the Marriott Grand Vista, and then here, the Wyndham Palm-Aire, I have to say, internet has not been my friend, or their internet services have not been my friend. Internet was out here from Saturday when we arrived until about halfway through Monday. Thank goodness for Monday that I had a LTE hotspot to be able to work with. I'm surprised but maybe I shouldn't be, that it took so long, given how poor IT services seem to be at these resorts. It's really kind of a big letdown for both of the resorts on this trip, to me, for being able to work remotely. And I think that they are missing market share there for the digital nomads, or otherwise the people who work remotely in different situations. However, by Tuesday, today, the internet's back up, and it actually is working pretty well here at Wyndham Palm-Aire. And once we got online again, most of the other things technology-wise seem to have been okay. What I can say is we did get a chance to use the dishwasher and the washer and dryer. And this, along with just, being here, kind of let me know something. So this is your standard washer dryer system, and it's the same system that I used at the Marriott Grand Vista as well. And we have somewhat of a similar layout here at Palm-Aire. And I think I'm starting to see one of the problems with Wyndham Palm-Aire. It's not in right in a big fancy area, but that's fine. It's 10 to 15 minutes away from a bunch of different eating, shopping, whatever kind of things you might need. That's not really that much different than getting around Orlando with the traffic there. Slightly less traffic here. But what is an issue is the fact that the walls seem to be roughly paper thin. If somebody's talking in the living room and you're in one of the bedrooms, you're going to hear it pretty clearly. If the washing machine here, kind of the standard that I'm just comparing for noise levels, because it's basically the same machine, is running, you're going to be able to hear it going pretty well. It's going to be kind of a good background noise, even with the door here shut and you going over to the kitchen table or something. Similar things with the dishwasher. It's not as quiet as the brand or model that they have at Marriott Grand Vista, and that was no Bosch dishwasher 800 or benchmark that I'm used to at home, where you can barely hear it. So again, that's something where now I see why people were so interested in having a delay start, because you preferably would like to kind of run it overnight or when you're not going to be out and around. It's not as bad as some. It's still middlingly quiet, I guess, but it's again noticeable, the noise. And that continues. So like people going by outside, people driving their cars along the streets, especially some of the people around here who apparently like to have very loud exhausts, and to rev it up, you hear that. To kind of block out noise if you're wanting to go to sleep for work the next day at, say, 10 p.m., you basically have to wear headphones. So I think I'm seeing a little bit about why Wyndham Palm-Aire has such a good price point. Why I was able to get 2 weeks here for 1 week's points in, say, La Belle Maison, or some other places I've been. So yeah, the beds also are fine being double beds. You do really have to close these curtains because there's lights out there that don't go off at night. And in fact, I just have to wear a sleep mask. I mean, I kind of do anyway, for a number of reasons, so it's not as big a deal to me. But if you're used to sleeping without something over your eyes or otherwise blocking light, you're going to very quickly notice that the light coming in is going to potentially be an issue. So yeah, it's kind of the negatives there. The other thing is, even though these are smaller beds, it's not a full queen bed. That's not a huge problem. The bed comfort is, in my opinion, unfortunately moderate. So probably, maybe a 6 out of 10. Like it's acceptable. I've managed on slightly on worse beds, like at Jackson Gore Inn or Vacation Village Weston. So these are better than those. But it's definitely probably 2 steps, like below the Marriott Grand Vista beds, which were, I would say, probably like a 8 out of 10, pretty good. And I guess, given standard Wyndham stuff, this is probably what I'd expect. Although I do remember being in a few other Wyndham locations where I thought the beds were still a little better than this, more like a 7 instead of a 6 out of 10. So, and the place does seem to have been recently renovated, or at least more recently than a bunch of Wyndham places. I won't say everything is brand new or anything, but it's all in pretty good shape. It's been painted. These beds aren't ancient or anything. The furniture looks pretty new. There are some weird things where they've bolted things to the wall. You'll see that in some of the other TripAdvisor things. I'm not sure if I have an easy place to show you. Maybe can I light this up with my flashlight? Yeah. So these things are bolted. These things are bolted to the wall. I'm going to try and get in closer here so you can see it. Yeah. And that's definitely not something that I'm used to seeing. I don't know. I would have said safety reasons so it can't tip over, but really is standard, thing like this gonna tip over? I mean, I don't know. Some of the people seem to think it's to prevent people stealing, but I'm back to, how are you going to steal this? I don't even know if you could get this into the regular elevator, and if you could, it'd be pretty obvious. And if you were in a situation to steal it, just bring some wire cutters. I don't know. So I don't really know why they're bolted there. Maybe they just got tired of people rearranging the rooms. I know some people like to completely rearrange things, and maybe they're not always putting them back to the original locations. That's probably the most likely reason for that. And in general, I think they're well enough hidden that it's not really a big problem. I noticed it. You can't not notice it, but I was just like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. I don't give them a big ding for that. This is starting to feel, I haven't done everything yet. I'm going to go and try and use some of the more of the amenities, hit the hot tub again maybe. Unfortunately, the sauna is closed because, of course, it is under construction or something. Seems to be one of the things that always gets in the way for me is either they don't have a sauna, or if they do have a sauna, it barely works. Or if they do have a sauna and it would potentially work, it's closed for something, for some period of time that nobody has any idea what that is. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But I'm beginning to feel like this might end up being very similar to Jackson Gore Inn. Just a prediction here. We'll see where I get at the end of this review. But it might very well turn out to be one of those locations that is probably great value for money. It's nice to be out of the cold up north in January. So that's a good point value to stay here. The staff so far, in my experience, has been great. If not really having information like when the internet might come back or when they might finish working on the sauna. Maybe not on this trip, but Should I ever plan to come here and use the sauna? Who knows? Who could tell me? I have no idea. Not the staff. But check-in was great. You know, they didn't even try and push, didn't even ask to do a presentation or anything like that, which is incredibly unusual for Wyndham. And so there's good things there, right? And we found a good hot tub. There's a lot of things that look like amenities on site, like full miniature golf course, super large chess board that I have some video of, like a sand volleyball net, couple different pools, couple hot tubs. There's a spa across the way that I haven't really gone and checked out. That's where I would have gone for the sauna, but it's closed. So we'll see if I even bother to go over there. But I imagine you can get like a massage or something there as well, if it's not completely under construction. I don't entirely know. There's supposed to be another pool over there, which is okay. I'm not that excited about 3 pools, 2 pools, whatever pools, fine. And you know, the nice thing is it doesn't look like you got to pay anything to do the miniature golf course. You don't have to obviously pay anything to use any of the other things I've talked about. So it's things that could keep you entertained. There's also a pool table we saw, a ping pong table, and they've had a couple movie nights that you can go to. And I think that they have activities all the time. I've said that before. Just by looking at it, I've gotten texted about different activities. They are doing them. And it's definitely something where you could potentially stay mostly in the resort here. And hopefully this coming weekend, I'm going to get a chance to check out their reciprocal use with the resorts that are on the beach. So that's another plus. But this isn't on the beach. This is in the city, basically. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a little sketchy of an area outside when you look around. But there's nothing problematic so far about the resort, inside the resort itself. It's just the kind of, you know, you get a lot, but you have to put up with okay sleeping, not great sound isolation, and you have all that noise and things, and maybe not the best beds to balance out kind of the other value that you're getting for the points, the location, etc. So we'll see how this comes together at the end. Okay, so after being at Palm-Aire for a while, we noticed a couple other things. One is we found out apparently the heat doesn't work unless you have maintenance to turn it on, whatever that means. We're still waiting for them to come. But we had set it to like 80, and it was still pretty chilly in here, especially as it's getting colder for this time of year in Florida, just this special cold wave. The other thing we noticed was this couch here is very uncomfortable, very hard. I don't know, it's probably a pull-out. We haven't tested that. No reason to test that, but like just sitting on the couch is pretty uncomfortable. And the other thing we cannot figure out is this light. We cannot find a light switch anywhere to turn it on or off, like the wall plug, I mean. And then the switch that we did find on the side here just doesn't seem to do anything, so maybe the bulb's dead. If maintenance does actually come to turn on the heat, we will hopefully remember to ask them about that light as well. Spoiler alert, they didn't, and we didn't. On the plus side, other than that, things have been pretty good. I wouldn't give this a negative. And that's what I think we have to call foreshadowing. We did drive over and get access to the beach from Wyndham Sea Gardens. You can park over there for free if you're staying here, at least at this time of year. So I don't want to slam this place or anything. It's just a couple little bits and bobs like we tend to find. And that's what I think we have to call foreshadowing. Yeah, so we started here looking into all this, and our serenity level and maybe overwhelming being really lax about this whole situation starting to come into focus here. Okay, so I think I just need to comment on this, which is I have this set to 85, and it's still pretty cold in here, or was. Second time texting today after texting on Saturday night. So this is Monday. It's the third day. Yeah, thinking back on it, we probably shouldn't have waited as long as we did to reply again in the texting, but we kept hoping they would show up. And I know this is unusual in Florida, but it was like 40 degrees during the day today, 42. It got down to wind chills of in the 30s yesterday, and it was pretty cold out here. Luckily, we do travel with 2 space heaters, so we plugged those in. This morning, so we were still pretty cold, I happened to have the idea that this is unfortunately what we've been reduced to for heating the center part where the kitchen is and everything. Yeah. Set the oven to 420. Open the door. Once it heated up a little bit. And several hours later, it's not cold in here. Of course, this probably isn't technically that safe, but we don't have any kids or anything. And really, during the day, often I'm the only one really out here. And we're going to turn it off before we go to bed or anything, or leave the unit. But yeah, two days, multiple texts. Maintenance has never come. Nobody's given us any suggestion for heat. Luckily, I think it's warmed quite a bit from the floors below us. But yeah, after being pretty sanguine about this, the poster on Tug was kind of pointing out that I might be being way too lenient about this. I suppose the next step would be to go down to the front desk and make a stink there. However, I think it's going to start warming up tomorrow, and it just, I'm not that interested in like changing units at this point. I've been here over a week. I'm leaving on Saturday. Didn't want to move in the middle of this 2-week period. I don't really want to now. But I do think this massively hurts the rating I have to give to Wyndham Palm-Aire. I got to take some points off. I was thinking basically they had an internet outage, they have a heat outage that go on for days. One of those, I guess I could excuse a little bit, the internet outage. They had a transformer blow and it screwed up their internet. And heck, even Marriott's Grand Vista had internet problems. Apparently I just have internet problems. It's certainly not unique to this location, although it did seem more common at Wyndham locations in my experience. I imagine if it's warmer outside and you're not working such that you like absolutely need the internet, or if you're okay using 5G, you can have a pretty good time here, especially with kids. I think there's a lot that they could do, but I've seen retirees playing beer pong and bingo, and they have just things to do inside and outside all the time. They have a lot of activities, way more than I'm used to seeing at a lot of other places, and they seem to do them all the time. So that's a plus. The beds are, I would have to say, somewhat middling. They're not the worst, but they're certainly not the best. I think I was coming in on a Tug score of something like in the 6 range. I'm going to give that some more thought before I do my final ratings. Okay, so while we are waiting to see what we're going to do about heat and everything, I did get a chance when it was pretty chilly outside. You can see Megan here wearing almost like a winter jacket, but I could get some open shots of the pools and some of the other amenities here without having to have kids in the shot. This is the area in the next building over where they actually do have a little like a snack shop and restaurant, and I believe other things in there, like the mini golf stuff is there, places you can sit, and then of course just to show the pool table that we talked about earlier in the video. And this is the second pool over by the other building. They have some neat little water features and such around the pool. I just figured I'd give a little bit of this area because you could go over here for another pool. And as I was saying before, I just wanted to give some view of the amenities and the kind of general vibe here at Club Wyndham Palm-Aire. This is one of the lobby areas recently renovated, at least it looks the way to me. The grounds here are well taken care of and somewhat interesting. And this is the entrance to the spa on site that, well, I have to ding it for not having the sauna open. I do have to say it looks really nice and recently, worked on, recently decorated and styled. And I think probably the spa services might have been fine. We didn't end up, getting a massage or anything. But all very modern. And then this is inside the spa is a pretty large fitness center, and a lot of machines here available for you. Again, they all look pretty new to me in pretty good shape, but I'm the last person to tell you about gym equipment, really. I just know some people want to see what's available at a location. I didn't get this before, but there's such an interesting looking tree. Like, whatever kind of trees there are. We have one that's like huge that you drive by. It's like absurdly large. And this is the main entrance right here at Club Wyndham Palm-Aire. But the sidewalk kind of ends here. And as you can see, this is the area that I think is just a little sketchy seeming. There's this Jewish community church, which is fine, but like the you got like rubble just on the road here. And it's just like, here's the ping pong table. I saw the pool table, but somehow I've missed the ping pong table. And I do wonder why they have them outside. Because like, even if it was nice weather out, like the wind is going to make it kind of hard to play ping pong. Oh, and they do have a thing here to refill your water bottle, which right now just seems to be going all the time. I don't know what's up with that. It's too cold for it. Okay, so we've been trying to get it warm in here, and I think I may have mentioned it was cool. I texted them on Friday, didn't hear anything. Texted them again on Monday morning, didn't hear anything. Went down. No, a guy come up this morning and took this thing apart and did something and said, okay, it's working, put it back together, and left. And I didn't notice anything, couldn't really tell. It was still blowing cold air, wasn't getting warm, had to use the oven again. So we went down at lunchtime to the actual front desk. Warning, caution, we finally had to go and talk to them in person and stand at the front desk and complain. I blame being Finnish and also not wanting to move units for this, but I have to admit, yeah, we might have been too lax about this. I said, look, this is kind of crazy. It's been like 5 days. We would have been warmer at home in upstate New York because our heat works. Can you send up a space heater or something? And can we get, I don't know, something for like 5 days of not being able to have it be warm in here? Spoiler alert, no, we can't get anything for the hassle. Not really. So they say, sure, we'll send somebody up with a space heater. Well, a couple hours later, a guy comes up, does not have a space heater. I'm like, oh, you don't have a space heater? He's like, no, I hear your heat isn't working. I said, yeah, they couldn't fix it. Well, he comes and he opens it up again and looks at it and closes it back up and wanders over and says, I call somebody else. So I'm like, okay, space heater? No. The third guy comes by and says, I hear having problems with the heat. And I was like, yeah, since Friday. So he goes, takes this thing all the way apart, does something, wanders around a few times, feels the vent, takes a while, takes another part apart, does something, puts it all back together as far as I can tell, and then walks over here. And this is the very strange part. Walks over here, just kind of like looks around a little bit. I think he like goes like, yep. And then he goes over here, and he opens the door. And we're going to open this door too, just so you can see, but he didn't open this door. He walks in here and kind of looks like this, looks like this, looks like that, kind of goes whack. Then he gets out here, goes like this, goes like this, goes like that, goes in here, whacks it 2 more times, I think, and closes the door and says, okay, he's working now, and leaves. Now, I don't know what's magical about whacking this door or this part of the wall, but apparently that was necessary to get the heat to work, I guess. Alright, so one thing I have to point out is that dishwasher works okay, cleans decently, but my god does it stink. It smells so bad when it's done washing that I'm just like struggling with it. It smells really, really bad. I also have to point out that I am almost certain that this lower tray is from a different model dishwasher, because no matter what I do, I cannot get it to roll smoothly or fit on both sides. Which, if that was their repair for somebody somehow breaking one of these trays, like, that's barely acceptable. I mean, you can sort of make it work, but my gosh, it's very difficult because it doesn't actually fit. So, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I have to say, the support here, contact with management or anything at Wyndham Palm-Aire is just kind of atrocious. I knew I should have waited. Maybe it should have brought this down a little further than in my review. But of course, it's all going to depend so much on whether you have an issue, or even could have, an issue like I did. But after them multiple times not responding to text messages for different things, but especially for the heat, not responding for days, reminded them, still didn't respond, came back, they finally came, didn't fix it. Somebody else came again and couldn't fix it, sent a third person to finally fix the heat. Basically 4.5 days, 5 days after I first reported it, is pretty bad. But then, when I had gone down and stood in front of the front desk to finally get them to do anything because they'd ignored all my text messages, they said a manager was going to call me. Well, I haven't gotten a phone call, I haven't gotten an answering machine message, I haven't gotten anything. I tried to call Wyndham directly, and after like 12 minutes on hold to what I wasn't even sure was like actually the owner support number, because I could only find a number that seemed to say it was going to help me make a reservation, which isn't the problem I had. I basically gave up. So I'm just going to call this kind of a write-off, and I could not possibly recommend coming to Wyndham Palm-Aire. I wish that I could, but by the tug score of 5, an average resort would not return. The would not return, I definitely kind of agree with. I just can't think of a reason to come here with these kind of problems, this kind of inability to address problems, and it being not really in a good location of the Wyndham resorts. It's not near the beach. It's 30 minutes away. It's not on the beach. And, it's fine in some ways, but just so many things add up to death of a thousand cuts, and I kind of feel like maybe I should have put this on the level of Villa Roma for my specific stay, but I can't say that, I couldn't see you having a much better stay here. If it's warm, if you happen to be lucky and only ask for things that they respond to for whatever reason, if you maybe only contact them by going to the front desk, it might be better. And if you're somebody who wants to take advantage of the potentially lower point values, or closer to like the super highway that Palm-Aire is, and you want to be in this area, then I could see this rating higher. Whereas Villa Roma, I don't know how you could have a better experience there. So I guess I feel okay with that. Sometimes I wish I could go back and readjust my ratings, as over time, what seemed like a very low rating maybe no longer does to me. So anyway, I can't recommend Wyndham Palm-Aire. I think that there are just better options in this area, and not just from Wyndham. But even just from Wyndham, right? If you just have Wyndham points, I would give Sea Gardens a try. It's basically on the beach. At least there, you're in a good location, to stay at the resort and see the ocean and what have you. And you're walkable to a number of different restaurants and stores and things. So all around, is the rest of the resort any good? I don't know. But just by looking at location, I would definitely try that versus Palm-Aire.